Good morning, afternoon and evening. My name's Angela. I'm the Grace Poppy Lady and welcome back to me playing with dies. This one is a mystery mix and number 1. Okay, so for today's mystery die, I've taken 2 different die colours which are here. Okay, you can't tell what they are. They are both very, very pale and they've not really got that much. That one's not showing as very much pigment. It looks more like a white with a touch of black in it. And this one, I don't know, I can't even describe what the colour is, but it is a very, very light. So if I didn't have labels on these and these got mixed up, oh dear, I'm in trouble. So I am now going to be placing labels on the top and labels on the bottom, because we all know what a klutz I can be at times. Right now I can't weigh this this mix out, so it is going to be a one and only mix, okay? Because as I said, I can't weigh it out. My scales are actually out of battery power, so I know what these 2 colours are, so I know that one of them I need more of than the other to make any sort of relatively nice shade. Just know these are primary colours. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one here, and we're going to take 1 flat scoop and pop it into the container. Now, as you can see there, it's a minuscule amount, but once I'm able to weigh it up so I know how much it is, then I'll know how much water to add. I really don't know what I'm doing, do I? Okay, this next one I am going to do half a scoop. Okay, now these spoons are minute. Actually, what am I doing? Let's make as much of this as I can. Let's go up a spoon size for the first one. Okay, we want that to flatten off, so let's use a cheeky old trick. It's like measuring out baby powder. Okay, so that's a flat scoop of the larger one, and then we're going to go for 1 scoop on the smaller one. Okay, so fingers crossed we've got enough room left in there to give it a good shake and a good mix. And that's what I'm going to be doing now, sitting on the sofa for the next few minutes, is just shaking up this little magic pot of colour. And then I'm going to come back later, weigh it, and work out how much hot water I'm going to need to add into this colourway. So that is it for this instalment of this bit of the video anyway. Right, so here is the big fat experiment for this month. Oh, I've got that proper die. I've shaken up our little mix it pot, and hopefully I have mixed it up enough. Now the dye that I'm using says that I need to use salt, and table salt is good enough. So I've decanted some salt into another pot, which I will have to label salt, because of course I can't use it in the house anymore. And sitting there trying to work out the measurements of salt quantity over what I've got in my little pot. When I can't weigh my little pot, I thought, forget it, I'll go back to the basics. So of course I know that I put 1 of each of these spoons in. So I looked at the instructions again, and it says 250 grams of salt per 50 grams of dye. So that's a 1 to 5 ratio, isn't it? So I am now going to place 5 of each of these spoonfuls of salt into the pot of water. Right, so that's the smallest one done. Now onto the larger one. Now in this tub I've also got at the moment 3 pints of water. That's right, I'm working in pints, gang. Pints, because I'm in the UK. So I'm giving that a gentle stir, because of course salt water's not going to do anything to my skin. And at the moment it's quite nice and warm. Now I've got 2 100-gram hanks here, I think. It's what I had left in the bottom of my bucket. Oh no, hold on, what's that? I don't know, I'm at a loss. Give me a second. Okay, so I have got 2 100-gram hanks here, so I'm going to add this to the water, move them down a little bit as I go. There's quite a bit of water in here actually, but as you know, I don't know what I'm doing. Right, so I'm just going to leave them in there for a short time to soak, and then when I'm ready I'll come back, and it's just a case of, do I mix or do I sprinkle? I think I best mix, hadn't I? See you in a few moments. Step 2 of our crazy experiment is to pop this into the bottle and add some warm water. But of course what I'm going to do is save a small amount in the bottom of the pot for sprinkling, which will make my measurements even worse. So nothing's going to work. So let's pour it in. We still don't know what this shiny little pouch of powder is going to look like once it's added to water. She says, I've had a sneak peek, gang, sorry. My bottle wasn't quite dry. But I'm going to keep it so that you guys can't see, because I'm evil and sadistic. Right, now I'm going to add in some water into this dye bottle. Oh, I haven't quite finished adding, have I? I don't need a great deal, I don't think. That'll be enough for sprinkles, she says, hopeful. There we go. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so this little bottle here only holds 50 mils of water. So let's pop my funnel back in. You might get a sneak peek now. But we'll pop the funnel in and we will add our 50 mils of warm water. And we'll see what colour we end up with. Okay, yeah, needs a bit more than 50 mils. Okay, my measurements were off. Oh, I'm going to leave it at 50. Right. So, are you ready for the big reveal? Oh, wrong lid. Where are you? Spray bottle lid. Okay. Just give it a shake. Oh. We'll give it a wake, and it still looks black to you guys. I am so evil to you all, aren't I? Right, are you ready? We're going to pour it into this tub here. I was tempted to take half out and sprinkle. I don't think I'm going to bother taking any out. I'm just going to sprinkle on the top half here and dump over here. Okay, so wish me luck. And hopefully you guys will like the colourway that comes out. It is going to be just the one colour, remember, so it depends on how it takes over the container. I have never done it like this before. No control, gang. There is no control. Here we go. Can you make out what colour it is? It is turned a very bright purple at the moment anyway. So that's how it's looking at the moment. Oh. Guess who didn't put gloves on? Guess who's going to dye our hands? Okay, so we haven't got a great deal of this, remember, so I've got to be quite generous in part. There we go. I hope it will. I shouldn't have done anything, should I? I shouldn't have moved that then, but we'll see. Okay. Right, I'm going to double add up this bottom end because it'd be really nice if there was some sort of a fade. And as I've wiggled that bit, that's already diluted, isn't it? She says hopeful. But you guys know, I don't know what I'm doing. I will never be able to reproduce this. Okay. So there we go. Now I've left, as I said, I was going to leave this top half empty because I've also got a tiny bit of powder left to sprinkle. She says hopefully that it will work. Oh wow, can you see how that is striking? Oh, it's a new technical term. Hold on, I need to bring the camera down for this. This is so cute. Right, so hopefully there you guys can see it. I can't get you any closer than that, I'm afraid. So where is it? If you look up here, we've got dots of pink and the dots of purple, of blue, because of course to get purple you need red and blue normally, but I used pink and blue. So let's see how they strike this second time when I put it in. Because the first time round it looked like spider legs over on this little bit here. Of course I'm going to need to leave some of this, which I can't do because I ain't got none left. Pants, I should have saved a bit more. Oh well. There we go. So that is how it's looking. You see the spider legs coming off here as I wiggle the dye. Right, don't touch it and leave it for half an hour and then come back. That's what I've seen others do, so I'm giving that method a try because we all know how impatient I am. And if I pulled this out now, yeah, I don't think definitely don't think it's had enough time to sit. It's only been going for 5 minutes. So leave it and walk away. But I need to cover it because I have a Liam who's been floating and looking. So fingers crossed that by leaving it in a closed container like this, he will leave it alone. Put your bets in, gang. Put your bets in. Now this wouldn't be a fun experiment, would it, if we didn't do it with a 100% cotton as well. So and these are 2 little 25-gram hanks that I have had sitting soaking in the saltwater solution. Let's give them a gentle wiggle. It was nice and warm when I put it in. It's now getting quite cold, so they've been in there quite a while now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up, or what I should say is I have mixed up another pot of dye using the same measurements as before. It won't be exactly the same, but it'll hopefully be close. Okay, so I'm going to just try and get the lid off that I put on extremely tight. No, it's going to be one of them days. There we go. I'm going to pop it into my little bottle. As I've done as I did earlier. Now this one will end up actually being this hank may end up being a lot brighter and hold the dye more, because of course there's less yarn for it to take, for the dye to take to, isn't it? So it's like more dye, less yarn equals brighter colour, we hope. Now I'm going to leave some behind for the sprinkle test again and clear up the spillage that's already appeared. Now, as you can see there on the pink and the purple flakes do strike, do separate. They don't fully 100% mix until we add the water. What am I doing? It's easier with the funnel. Okay, so we'll add in the water now. Okay, so that was about where it was last time. Yep. I'll pop that to one side. Where's my spray bottle lid gone? There we go. So we'll pop that on. Give it a good shake. Make sure we've got no sediment in the bottom. Sediment in the bottom. Oh no, it's a bit of plastic. I'm looking at it at a slightly different angle to you. So there we go. Ooh, that looks, to me, how can I would say a dark plum. Okay, so I might have got my measurements on the wrong way, but hey, it's all fun, isn't it? Right, so because this one has been soaking for quite a while and it's gone nice and cool, I'm going to take it out of this container. Well, I'm going to take half out, sorry, because I've got 2 hanks in there, so I'm going to take half out. Okay, and I'm going to attempt to keep the fluid in there. Okay, like that. So drain it off a bit. That is going to get speckled. This one I'm going to reduce the water down by 50%, she says, hopefully. Or at least reduce it by quite a bit, but it's still just about covering. Right, so in this first one, I'm going to put the majority of this dye, okay? The second one, I'm going to sprinkle, but I'm also going to do an area of spray dye out of the spray bottle. Oh, this is going to get messy. Okay, so let's move that one up there for a minute, because this is the one that we're going to need to do first. That's already got pink dye coming onto it where I've spilt it on the plastic. But here we go. Okay, so it's 100 grams. I want to do this sort of amount with half and half, I think. So half is going to be sprayed and half is going to be speckled. Fingers crossed it works. Right, so here we go, on with the spray. It's like being a graffiti artist, isn't it? Give that a few minutes to soak in a little bit, and then I'll turn that over. Too impatient I am. Too impatient and determined to get my hands dyed severely this time round. Okay, back in for the second coat, or the first coat on the back I should say. I don't think I'm going to do any more spray on this one because I want to go straight on to the speckle. So I'm now going to clear up as much of the excess as I can find. Oh. Okay. Let's check cotton over. Oh, we've got a couple of clear spots. You know me, don't do too much white. Give me colour. There we go. Skip again, have a little look. Oh, there we go. Let's clear that off. Okay, now that's been sprayed, let's just move it down a bit, and this end of course we're going to speckle. And I really should put some gloves on for this bit because of course my hands are damp. But I'm not. I'm just gonna throw it on there and hope for the best. This is dangerous. Right, are you ready? Are we watching? Can I bring this down any further? Yes. Okay, so it's all in camera. So just luck, because of course this is two colours that mix together. So they're not going to strike exactly the same way. We're going to have bits of this and bits of that. So yeah. Here we go. It's like fairy dust. Can you see anything working? That's it. That's the fairy dust done. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to grab gloves, because of course I've never done speckles on a hank with this stuff before. So I'm going to pop my glove back on, rinse off that ginormous amount of red I've just spotted. Don't actually know where that one comes from. Might have been there the entire time. Just don't know. Right. And now I'm going to splat. Whoa! Oh my gosh! That's mad! Can you see it? Just by whacking it, me and brute force. Brute force plays the key. Okay, so brute force, splatted, and the more I'm splatting, the brighter the colours are becoming. Now over on this section here, I have got quite a lot of dusted areas on this side. I didn't think I did have. So are you ready for the splatter, splatter reveal? It's the only thing I can really call it, really, isn't it? The splat reveal. There we go. Oh, okay. Now, of course, I've got no more mixed powder for the other side. So this is where we've got to live in hope that this has actually made its way all the way through. And if not, anything that's left over around the edges will get picked up. I'm not going to clear that up at all. I'm going to use the yarn itself as its own yarn mop, because that's the term I've heard it called. Okay, so now I've done that. Oh, okay, flick it over slightly. Yes, we do have some whiter spots and some areas that haven't quite got all the dye in, but you know what, I don't care, I like it. So let's fold that over as well. Then I'm going to carry on now rolling up this yarn from the bottom. Say goodbye to this one and we'll get to see it again in a few minutes for you. For me, I've got to wait hours and hours and hours. Oof. With this one I can also get away with leaving it overnight, which is really good because that's what might happen. Okay, so now we're back for the second part of this really cheeky experiment, where of course I've got the liquid dye all done. Now this is a case of, we've got one that's already submerged in water, which is the 50-50 mix. This one is 100% cotton, so I'm going to drain out the majority of the water, or at least some of it. I'm not going to overly squeeze it, just gently remove the water. And then pop the cotton back in. Now of course it is contained at the dye at the moment is contained in I'm trying to do this all nice and look neat and stuff. Oh, forget it. Right, now the dye itself is contained at the moment in the squirt bottle, so of course I'll give it another shake up to wake it up. But then what I plan to do is dump and run. Okay, so I am going to dump the dye in, give it a bit of a squidge, and then leave it. And that is it. Dump and run, and I'm going to leave that one for the same length of time as the one in the green container. So we've had a bottle of this before, so I've used a bottle of this dye before, so I know that there's normally enough dye to last, but I'm not going to use all of it. I want to save a percentage of it in case it's needed for the 2 hanks that are in the other container. Okay, so I'm not going to use all of it, she says, thinking, what am I saying? I'm probably going to need to use all of it. Right, now I'm using my glove with a hole in it. That's a lefty on a right hand. So if it looks strange, that's why. Okay, so now it's a case of squidge the dye through. Okay, at this moment in time, it is not, it doesn't look like it's taking on both sides. We've got quite a lot of colour difference here between the lighter and the darker stages. Okay, it may just be a difference between where the salt was and where the salt wasn't. We will have to wait and see, but wow, that's coming up bright under the light, or at least it's coming up bright for me. So there you go, that's that one. I'm going to leave that to sit for a few more minutes, because it's nearly time to open that bad boy back up. And it is a case of, which way do I play? And do I turn it over and add more dye? Oh, pants, I didn't save any, but no, I've saved a bit. Do I turn it over and add more dye? Or do I just leave it sitting and hope for the best? It's looking on the sides like the dye has sunk right down, so to the bottom. So there is hope that the dye is going to get taken up. I really hope so, because if it don't, I've got to go back to square one. I've got all these dyes sitting here. And I don't know what I'm doing. Right, I will see you shortly. Okay, so we are back with the shoebox dye. And now this one has been in now for 30 minutes. I am actually going to be cheeky now and add some leftover dye from a different video. You'll find out which one later, because I don't know what order I'm putting any of these in. Now the dark section is down the bottom here, and it goes lighter to an occasional speckle up at the top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in more dye down the bottom here. Okay, I am not actually going to turn the I'm not going to turn it at all. I'm just going to leave it sitting all one-sided, if that makes sense, because in my hope is that by doing that, yeah, by leaving it like that, then it's going to give the colour more of a chance to sink in and move around. Now I'm going to leave this for 6 to 8 hours like this before we come back and get to see it again. I'm also going to be doing this video as a premiere, so come on, write in the comment section down below how you think this is going to work now, and whether we are going to get an all purple with an occasional spot of pink and blue, whether I'm going to be lucky and I'm going to get something that changes colour as it goes, or is it another poppy hot mess? I'm going to do a countdown now between for the next 10 seconds, so that you've got a chance to put it in the comment section of this video. Enjoy the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should have been on kids telly. Okay, just a quick update. I've been on the website for this dye brand, and it says that basically I can submerge an item in the water and stir for 15 minutes, and then stir regularly for 45 minutes, meaning that technically I should only need to leave it in here for an hour. and it's been in for an hour, and you know me, I am so tempted, but if you look, there is still a lot of dye left in, and as I move the yarn, it appears to be firing itself out as well. Hey, risk it for a biscuit or leave it for a bit longer? Pop your comment in the comment section, and we'll see what I did in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So did you bung your guess in? Am I an impatient toad or not? Let's see. Right, so this tub has been in for 3 hours because the battery died on my computer, so I've had to wait. I am so desperate to see this one. This is the one where the dye started at the bottom, and I kept it dark, and then we have the sprinkles at the top here. So fingers crossed something has remained of what we put in originally. She says trying to get into it. Right, okay, so I haven't looked. Oh, and I can't look. You guys get first look. How bad is it? She says hiding behind the lid. Okay, so it's not too bad. There seems to be still quite a lot of dye left in the box, but it's been 3 hours, so I'm just going to take them now. I quit. I give up. I want it out. I need to rinse it, clear up so I can cook dinner. Right, okay, so let's pull this out and see what we've got. We've got some darker colours up the top here, and we do have a little bit of speckling, which looks like it could be a bit of blue. Okay, and on both sides, it's not looking too bad. Okay, so we'll keep going, keep pulling it up. Now, of course, you guys are seeing this in blue, whereas it is in fact purple for me. Okay, so this hasn't quite gone to plan. Really, none of these went to plan today. Okay, as you can see here, there's lots of lights, lots of darks, lots of mix. So it's definitely not done the graded effect that I wanted. Right, I'm now going to squish this out, rinse it out, and we'll see once I lay it out on the counter if we can see any more identifying marks that we had initially put in. They are both the same cotton base. This is 100% cotton. Okay, we've got one that's come out quite evenly coloured, as you can see there, quite evenly coloured but quite dark. Okay, and the second one out hasn't taken the dye up as much. It is slightly lighter, about 2 to 3 a tone, about 2 shades lighter, as you can see there. That's, let's see if it makes it at all. No, not really, but this section here is definitely the lighter of the two. Okay, but again, these two can easily be worked up together as something as a gradient. I just need to make the rest of the shades lighter, 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 lighter. No, not happening. Okay, but there we go, and that is how the 100% cotton took the colour. Because of course I wanted to test that out as well, and now I'm all knotted. But yeah, so they're going to now go onto the dryer hook. Onto my drying rod, and we'll see what they look like in a few moments. When I pop a photograph up, hopefully you will be able to see the colour variations between the two a lot more. Right, now for this one, the last one that I've got that I rinsed out is the one that was done on the countertop, where I did a purple bottom to it, which is this section here. Okay, and then I sprinkled on some of the dye powder, or what was left of the dye powder, and then hit it with my glove, which seemed to burst the little bits of dye all over the yarn. So if I can bring this up close to you, it has taken and it has worked, although the colourways you may not be able to see the colour as well as I would hope for. Yeah, so here it is. We've got flecks of orange, flecks of red, flecks of blue, purple. It's really a pretty section, actually. I really do like that one. And what's happened is, as you can see, we've got two areas that are very similar matched as it goes around the work, around the yarn. So we've got a splat section there, a more lighter section here, splat, light, splat. So personally for me, I can handle it. I can really handle it. So I'm now going to pop a photograph up of this one, unhanked of course, and hanked, so that you can see the different colourways hopefully within it. Right, so in today's video there were the 250 gram that were done in the bucket. I'm just going to call it the bucket dye. Now, in regards to the bucket ones, they have turned out beautifully, and as you saw in the photographs, there is a little bit of a gradient in the dye. How can I fix it? Less water for it to float around in, I suppose. And maybe add some heat. I don't know. I'm going to have to reread the instructions to find out whether I should have actually heat set it in any way, shape or form, or whether it could actually be cold used. Now, I did read it when I was doing it and it didn't say anything about the heat set, but there might be something extra in it that I've missed, maybe one or two words in the description, because we all know what I'm like for reading. But in regards to those two hanks, I think they came out beautifully, and they all seem to work really well as a group of colours. I just wish that the smaller hanks were both the same type of yarn now, and not one being a 50-50 and the other one of course was the solid. So the solid colour one was 100% cotton, so that is actually a DK weight, whereas the other three hanks are only a 2 weight yarn. So in theory I could double up those yarns to make it a DK, but I'm not wasting them like that. There's just not enough of them. Right, so I hope you like these photos I'm about to put up of the finished hanks. Right, so that is it for me for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please pop a comment in the comment section down below as to which ones you liked, and whether that colour mix is one that I really need to try and remember how to do, and possibly make it in a bigger batch at a later point. Right, so that is it for me for today. So please remember, stay chilled, stay happy and keep crafting. Ta-ra for now, everybody.